Hello, my name is Sai, and welcome back to Flutter for Designers. So far in the course, we've been taking a look at stateless widgets. However, today we'll play around with stateful widgets and see how we can update the UI of our app whenever needed. We'll do this by building the rest of the list for the recent course cards. Let's get started. First, let's add the text recents over here and the subtitle text. After home screen navbar, I'll press enter, type column, add a set of parentheses, type children, add the set of square brackets, and then add the two widgets. First, I'll type text recents and give it a style of K large title style. Next, I'll add the other text widget, and I'll name this 23 courses more coming, and give it a style of K subtitle style. I'll add a comma at the end and press save. And now I can see our two widgets over here. Let's give some padding in between these two widgets. In between the two text widgets, I'll type sized box and give it a height of 5 pixels. Now, because I want both of these widgets to span the entire width of the device, underneath column, I'll press enter, and then I'll type cross-axis alignment dot stretch. And now I'll press save. Lastly, for the two text widgets, we need to add padding. I'll put my cursor over the column keyword over here, press Option and Return on my keyboard, and select Wrap with Padding. I'll remove the const keyword, replace all with symmetric, and give it a horizontal padding of 20 pixels. There we go. Now we can build the rest of our list. First, let's select recent course card and cut it to our clipboard. And we'll replace it with recent course list. Add a set of parentheses and a comma. We haven't defined this widget yet, so let's do that. Right before home screen navbar, type STFUL and press enter. This will create the template code for a stateful widget. Now we can name this recent course list and press enter. If you press save, our card is gone, but in place of it is our new stateful widget. Let's get to creating this widget. Within container, I'll provide a height of 320 pixels, a width of double dot infinity, and then for child, I'll provide a new widget called pageview.builder. Pageview is a list widget that provides a snapping animation whenever the widget you want comes into focus. So let's remove null. I'll press enter a couple times. Now for item builder, I'll provide a function which takes the arguments context and index. I'll add a set of curly brackets afterwards, and inside I'll type return and press Command V. Instead of recent courses and providing the index value of 2, I'll replace 2 with index. And then I'll remove this comma and add a semicolon. Finally, I'll add a comma at the end of the curly braces, press enter, and then provide a value for item count. For item count, I want it to be the entire length of recent courses. So I'll type recent courses.length. And now I'll press save. You can see that our list view has been created, but we can make this look a little better. After item count, I'll press enter. I'll add a comma before then. I'll type controller and provide the value page controller, setting the initial page to 0 and a viewport fraction of 0.63. Now, if I press save, our cards are slightly in the middle, and when we move along the widget, we can see that each card snaps to the center. Perfect. Now let's add some indicators to the bottom of our page view widget so that our user knows which card they're on. Right before the add override keyword, I'll press enter, and at the top, I'll declare a couple of new variables. First, I'll type list container, give it a name called indicators, and set it to an empty list. Indicators will be a list containing different widget containers. And then I'll provide an integer named current page whose default value will be 0. Now I'm going to create a new function that will return a widget. Let's call this update indicators. I'll add a set of parentheses, add a set of curly brackets, press enter. What I want this function to do is to return a widget, and that widget will be placed along the bottom over here. So what we can do is put our cursor over container, press Option and Return, and select Wrap with Column. Then after the container widget, I'll type update indicators and add a comma. Within update indicators for now, I'll type return container, add a set of parentheses and a semicolon, and press save. While nothing has changed on screen, our update indicators function is currently showing an empty indicator. So let's get to building this update indicators function. I'll replace container with row, press enter in between the parentheses, and then type children. Now instead of providing a default list, I'll type recent courses.map. This will iterate over every object inside our recent courses list. Within map, I'll provide a variable called course, which will be each individual course inside the recent courses list. I'll add a set of curly brackets in between both of them, and then I'll type var index is equal to recent courses dot index of course. This will provide the index that the current course belongs to. Now I'll return a container, add a set of parentheses, and let's define our container. We'll set the width to 7 pixels. We'll also set the height to 7 pixels. We'll add a margin of edge insets symmetrical and provide a horizontal value of 6 pixels. Then to decorate the box, I'll type decoration, box decoration, add a set of parentheses, and provide a shape. We'll want our indicator to be a circle, so I'll type box shape.circle. And then for the color, I'll provide colors.blue. We'll change this later. Finally, before the last parentheses, I'll type dot to list. And then I'll type a semicolon right before the container over here, so it knows to return this container. Now, if I press save, you can see that we have our 3 indicators over here. Let me add a comma after toList, and in between this curly bracket and this parentheses, and press save. Our code is aligned a little better. Next, let's change the alignment of the indicators. Going back up, after the first row parentheses, I'll press enter and type main axis alignment and set it to main axis alignment dot center. Now let's replace colors.blue. I'll type current page is equal to index, add a question mark, and then type color, add a set of parentheses, 0xFF0971FE. Then I'll provide a colon, and then type color, add a set of parentheses, 0xFFA6AEBD. And then I'll press save. You can see that now our indicator is formatted a little better. What this line does is it checks to see that if the current page is equal to the current index, then set the color to blue. Otherwise, set it to a grayed out color. But nothing is updating, and this is because we haven't updated our current page every time we move along the list. So let's scroll back down, and right after controller, I'll type on page changed. I'll add a set of parentheses, provide index as the value, add a set of curly brackets, and press enter. And now I'll type set state, and within set state, I'll type current page is equal to index, and add a semicolon. And now, if I press save, every time I move along the list, you can see that the indicator is refreshing its UI and updating accordingly. The setState function over here lets Flutter know that any widget that relies on current page needs to be updated as well. Let me scroll back up. And in between padding and recent course list, I'll provide a new widget called sized box and provide a height of 20 pixels. This will give some breathing room in between the two text widgets and our scrollable list. Finally, scrolling back down, over recent course card, I'll put my cursor, press Option and Return, and select Wrap with Widget. We'll be using the opacity widget. I'll provide an opacity parameter, and then I'll set the opacity to current page is equal to index question mark 1.0 colon 0.5. And now I'll press save. Just like earlier, current page will check to see that if the current index is equal to the current page it's on, set the opacity to 1.5. Otherwise, gray out the cards. In this section, you got an in-depth look at building stateful widgets and how to update your UI. In the next section of the course, we'll be building the next part of our home screen, and that will be the Explore cards. I'll see you all then. Thanks for watching.